Hey everybody, welcome back. Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth plus some spicy but winnable runs lately. Anytime we get 9 lives, I'm a happy man. By the way, Polyphemus, huh? HZNS4SYL. 39 rate of fire is pretty bad. Everything else is like, I'm living on cloud 9. Okay, hold on, Tomo, you'd like to come in, right, buddy? Okay, Tomo. Hey, buddy. Hello. We got a new, cat dynamic in the house. So on Friday, it's still Sunday here, but on Friday, the cats went in for dental work. Now, dental work from a feline perspective is kind of laborious. There's a lot of different words you could use, I'm sure. I'm not a cat dentist, but expensive is another one. You could definitely use that one, and it would not be considered, not apt. Let's put it that way. Bombs, please. Let's go. But basically, when you're a human being, you have your teeth clean, you get your teeth clean. It's no big deal. When you're a cat and you have your teeth clean, you have to be put under general anesthetic. Partially because, they also there's a lot of calculus buildup, but... Excuse me, Tomo, you okay? Anyway, long story short, so it's an involved process. Both cats are fine, but there was a situation where Ruka had to have a couple of teeth pulled because of the fact that they were, being reabsorbed, I guess, is I don't know if this happens to human beings as well, but I'm assuming that they're, I'm just kind of ignorant to this, but there was some, tooth reabsorption, so I guess, the body, or due to decay or something like that, the tooth starts to be reabsorbed back into the bone. So they were like, we gotta take this tooth out, which is fine. But Ruka's on he's on the mend right now. He's got painkillers he has to take twice a day for ooh, at least we got a rate of fire up. I'm stoked about that. He's got to take painkillers for the next little bit, and he's a little he's a little out of it. Now Tomo has not been top dog. He's always kind of been the second in command of the feline legion here. But now that Ruka is showing signs of weakness, Tomo is really starting to he's starting to stake his claim. He's like Killmonger. But anyway, I'm sure that'll change. By the way, Ruka, he's fine. It's just, basically when they pull the teeth, they gotta put stitches in the mouth. They put stitches in the mouth. You gotta give them a cone. They give them the cone so they don't use their claws to try to scratch at their jaw and pull the stitches out. And you get the general idea. It's a whole thing. Tomo, on the other hand, you might say, why are Tomo's teeth better? Tomo's teeth are actually far worse, but he happened to have both of these teeth extracted, genuinely 5 or 6 years ago. I think we took him in to be, neutered or something like that, and they were like, oh yeah, 2 of his teeth are, growing inside of his jaw, so do you want us to pull them? And we're like, yeah, go ahead. Anyway. Long story short, the cat apple cart has been tipped over. There's a new sheriff in town. By the way, I will can I absorb some dopamine, please? This is where you go, wow, you have a newborn and you still manage to run errands, for example getting your cat's teeth cleaned on a Friday. It's true. I did carry both cats myself to the veterinarian's office at 8:35 a.m. and then I picked them up at 6. It's it's what, it's hard being a super dad. It's easy. Could use a nap though, certainly, but the time doesn't really exist. But that's okay. I'll nap in I bet in 2022 I can get a sick nap in. Once she's in daycare or something like that, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm not going to pencil it in just yet because things can change, but... Alright, what are we looking for? I hate to say it because we've had it so often lately, but really 9 lives would be an amazing get. Oh, we'll take. That you don't even have to think about that one. 9 lives would be incredible. Just because we already have such a good position. Getting a little extra HP would help. So I think we're gonna 2 of diamonds and bomb. And we're gonna just, like, we'd like a better spacebar item. If you got a Guppy's Paw, you got a Guppy's Paw. I guess at this point I would probably feel okay taking Fanny Pack. I don't think it's gonna be an incredible item for us, but I think it's fine. It's a really, really good run. Polyphemus is the only damage upgrade you need, and all the tiers upgrades we've gotten have really made a big difference. So very, very much positive on this run right now. Shouldn't run into the same sorts of problems that our last one did, I hope. I mean, we won that one anyway, but still, you know, it's the thought that counts. Maybe I could get a... Nope. I was looking for a reroll. To maybe get a Spirit Heart. Okay. I'm ready. Let's do it. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because I keep hearing like a bird sound. I know you're like, didn't my hand smell like something? Oh no, I smelled cat pee like a couple episodes ago. I never solved that problem, by the way. The aroma went away. I really think I had a phantom smell. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes there's like, you know, do you smell that? No, I don't. And you're like, how can you not smell that? It's a 10 out of 10 smell of like delicious rotisserie chicken. You know, you got me thinking now. But then it turns out there's nothing. That was the capstone to that bit. You got me thinking now. I wonder what I'm going to do for like Christmas dinner. Normally, like, it's not a huge deal necessarily. You know, I mean, growing up, I'll tell you, there's turkey people, there's ham people, there's tofurkey people, I guess. Which is kind of silly. Like, I still, if you're a vegetarian, I don't think you're eating tofurkey on Christmas. Aren't you just eating like a delicious stew or something like that? Like, I hate the idea that like, you know, all the normal people are eating hamburgers, but don't worry, we'll get you like a weird tempeh burger or something. No, just give me like, can I just have like a samosa or something? I can bring my own samosas. That's what I did for Thanksgiving. There was one year where I was vegetarian. I went to my grandparents' house for Thanksgiving, and they were like, we know you're vegetarian, so we got you like some frozen samosas. And you know what? I was stoked. Were they as delicious as the turkey? No, they weren't, but I was making a stand, okay? They were still good. I mean, I'll relish any opportunity to have a samosa. This is a little spooky. Doesn't have to be, and now it's not spooky, but... Okay, it's still a little spooky. Just kill him and then get out. Thank you, thank you. And that helps as well. But my family, we have been, like, for each of the holidays, let's say Easter, turkey, or Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, we're turkey. We don't do, like, ham one day, turkey the other 2 days, etc., etc. So normally for Christmas dinner, you know, growing up, we would have turkey. Fair enough. Historically, you know, since I've lived in Vancouver, you know, for 2 people, turkey is not really an efficient meal. You can do it, don't get me wrong. It's just, it's pretty involved. You know, and you end up, I mean, like, if you've gone to, like, a 10-person Thanksgiving event, you know there's leftovers. So, like, imagine those leftovers when there's 2 people. Now, I don't mind eating turkey sandwiches, you know, for a month afterwards, but there's kind of like a knock-on effect, right? Like, you know, we don't have a huge family, for one, then we also don't have a big freezer because we don't have a ton of space. So, you know, you get to the point where you're like, is the juice worth the squeeze on the turkey stuff? I don't know. This year I do kind of find myself craving, like, in advance. It's 2 weeks in advance of it, but I still kind of find myself craving, like, a, you know, a bird plus mashed potatoes plus stuffing sort of meal. You can get, like, I don't know, it's, Christmas dinners are not made for 2 people situations, you know? You can get, like, catered Christmas dinners, but they're always, like, insanely expensive. At least the ones that I've seen are insanely expensive for, you know, the amount of food you get, which is fair. You know, you are basically asking someone to handle it for you. So you pay a premium for that, but at the same time, it puts the food into a position where, like, don't get me wrong, I think turkey's pretty underrated. I think most of the people who say turkey's, like, always dry or, like, leathery, they just haven't eaten a good turkey. You know, or let me put it this way, they've eaten turkey that's cooked improperly or suboptimally. But even then, like, I hate to say it, sometimes kind of like a dry turkey, it's like its own different beast. Like, I always think of steak. I think I'm okay with this. I think of steak. And, like, my dad, when he cooks steak... Have we gone in here? We probably have. Let's not risk it. My dad, when he cooks steak, he cooks it typically on, like, a charcoal barbecue. And he's like, how do you want it? And you say whatever you want to say. It's coming out well done. Right? I don't blame him. Like, it's hard to have, and you might disagree if you're insanely grill-pilled, but it's fairly difficult to have great temperature control on a charcoal grill or a propane barbecue, right? It's not impossible. It's not as hard as cooking it, like, literally over an open flame, I guess, but is harder than, you know, using a stove, for example. I'm willing to do it here. I'm willing to do it. So I like my steak, like, medium rare. I know it's a rarity, the most common and popular amount of steak doneness. But then I almost consider it like two different foods. There's, like, steak. If I'm in a nice steakhouse, I would be like, can I have that medium rare, please? And then there's, like, you know, my dad's barbecued steaks. They're a different beast. They're well done. But they kind of, you know, they're more of a vessel for sauce, and I don't evaluate them on the same criteria, you know, for a number of different reasons. One of which is, you know, it was cooked with love, right? Well, thought we would get our key back, but no such luck. That's kind of how I feel about turkey. Like, you can have amazing turkey that does not need the gravy. Sometimes you bite into that first piece, and you're like, you know what? It's dry. Give me the gravy. But you still enjoy it, because it's like, it tastes like Thanksgiving. That's the way I choose to look at it. But anyway, long story short, I haven't figured out what we're going to do yet. Obviously, it's kind of an aberrant year in that sense. Yeah, I don't really know. All I'm getting at is, like, 2 to 3 people, kind of an awkward number for a Thanksgiving, for a Christmas, for a etc. For a day traditionally associated with a big family feast. Actually, like, in Vancouver, what we've mostly done is, like, you know, we'll make, like, a dinner reservation for that day or the day before, and we'll go out to a place where you can, like, order a traditional Thanksgiving dinner. But obviously that's not in the cards this year. And by Thanksgiving, I mean Christmas, but again, in my household, they're the same thing. Sorry, I was caffeinating there. Not the same day, but the same principle. I honestly have long been a proponent, like, as someone who is a-religious, like, Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas are essentially, past the age of, like, 20, are the same day. As a kid, it's a little different. You know, Thanksgiving and Easter are exactly the same, except maybe you get some chocolate on Easter. But Christmas, of course, is like the granddaddy of all holidays. We don't mind. We don't mind. But as an adult, for sure. I mean, you know what? I should acknowledge the fact that it'll probably change once we start buying gifts for, you know, our kid. You know, then Christmas will take on a different meaning for sure. But as a childless adult in their 20s and early 30s, definitely I was like, Christmas is Easter is Thanksgiving. It's a day where you come together and your grandma says, like, hey, I was talking to this relative that, you know, you heard of 12 years ago but have never spoken to, and they've got a kid, and their kid is really interested in doing what you do for a living. So, like, is there any advice? Like, is there any easy way to, you know, just, like, start, like, they don't need to be, like, at the same size as you, but if they could even get to, like, 50,000 subscribers in, like, you know, like, a couple of months, that would be pretty amazing for them. Is there any advice I could give them? Yeah, kids, stay in school. Okay, hold on. We want it. We kind of want the other item as well, but let's put some respect on its name. It's Death's Touch, but we don't need it. If we feel that HP would be more prudent, we don't need it. And Guppy's Paw does not work with Bone Hearts. You might say, yes, it does. You are incorrect. I promise you, because I literally just tried it as I was walking there. Do you need to hear the button? There you go. He could have been hitting the Z key. You know what? How does this even work? It doesn't. Fair enough. On the bright side, our infinite range got upgraded to now with even more infiniteness. Infinicity? If you give me a spirit heart, I'll take it. Alright. My piece of wisdom for myself is, why risk it, right? We're gonna have other deals with the devil in the future. Don't throw your life away just to get a little bit more damage when you already got Polyphemus. It doesn't happen too often anymore, but it is one of the ways that I have, like, traditionally lost runs. One of the most common ways, unfortunately, is just, you know, I would get so strong that I would be like, nothing can kill me, and then I would take one too many deals with the devil, oftentimes for items that, like, had almost no use whatsoever, you know, like my shadow or something like that, and then you die thanks to taking my shadow, and you feel like the world's biggest fool. I like the D1. I think the D1's got a lot of, it's got a lot of valuable use cases. Like if we can get a demon heart, for example. Yes. It's very nice indeed. Come on, man. Come on, man. There we go. So you're going to double up on that, and we're just going to keep it going. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we've reached that point in my life where, you know, it's December the 13th, and all I'm thinking about is, like, what I'm going to eat for dinner on December the 25th. Life comes at you fast, man. Used to think it was comical, you know? My mom would be talking up, and she's like, oh, we're going to Quebec City in 6 months. I can't wait to eat like that meat pie again. Now I'm like, you know what? I didn't realize how right she was. And again, I can't stress enough, apart from that, there's very, very little going on. You know what is interesting, though? I did buy, and I gotta give incredible props to my good friend Malf here for basically, like, okay, so let me put it this way. I did my chess lesson with Levy, and my camera setup was, like, so scuffed for that. Like, because of the way that, webcams, I mean, look, I'm not that much of a hardware guy, obviously. But because of the way that your webcam works, essentially only one device can access your webcam simultaneously, or at once, I should say. So, you know, if you're using your raw webcam source in OBS, then your raw webcam doesn't show up to any other devices. You know, it'll be like your webcam is currently in use. So, when I took the Zoom call with Levy in order to do the lesson, Zoom hooks up to my, you know, primary webcam, and the way to fix it would have taken, like, you know, maybe 15 minutes, and I was like, let's just get on with it. But basically, you hook your... You make sure the webcam hooks into, like, a piece of software first, and then you have every other application that wants to look at the webcam look at that software instead, if that makes sense. You almost, like, you mirror your webcam, and then you point everything else at the mirror. But then it was also, like, when I was watching his side of the stream, I was like, man, this guy's, like, his camera and, like, lighting setup is amazing. So is Malf's, and, you know, I've only been using, you know, the webcam for about 1.5 years, I guess, for like, egg cam stuff, but at the same time, I was like, you know what, maybe it's time for an upgrade for me. So I asked my good friend Malf, like, hey, what do you use, and what would you recommend that I use? And he sent me a lot of recommendations, and then, you know, 4 days later, when I had some free time to look into it, I literally just bought everything on the list that he had suggested for me, and, I'll just do it. I'll just do it, dude. It's self-fulfilling prophecy, but I'll just do it here. Now, please keep in mind, half of this stuff, which really, the stuff does not work without everything, if that makes sense. So, you know, I got a new, very nice camera. The camera doesn't connect via USB. It connects via HDMI, I think, or mini HDMI maybe. So then, you know, you get a device that, okay, well, first you get a cable that converts the HDMI to mini HDMI or vice versa, and then you plug that into the camera. Then you plug that into something called the Elgato Cam Link, which then plugs into your computer. And then I got a mount as well in order to, you know, make sure that it's positioned properly, and also to clear out some desk space. So this, it won't, the setup is going to change all at once. It's not going to be like a piecemeal thing. I don't know why I'm talking about this in Isaac as well, where there is like literally no webcam at all, but either way. It should be, I'm hopeful that it'll be a nice little upgrade, because I do feel like, you know, I don't want to have the slickest production on Twitch. Like, I really... I don't know, maybe it's a character flaw on my part, right? But when I see streamers and they have like RGB lights with their name, and I mean, you know what I'm talking about. They got the branded like Red Bull fridge and stuff like that. I don't look down upon it, to be clear, but I feel like it's just part of a brand that my brand personally is not associated with. I don't mean Red Bull specifically. I just mean like, you know, that's kind of more of like the check it out, like I'm a great gamer, and you know, I'm advocating that sort of lifestyle. I think I'm more of like a guy who's just like, I just talk a lot. So to some extent, by the way, I really like Dice Shard here, but I think we won't dupe it yet. Let's see if we can get some more Spirit Hearts first. But to some extent, I will also admit that I feel like and I'm getting better about it. I've gotten a lot better about it over time. But I've been like, oh, we don't need to even work on our production at all, because that's not why people watch. But I think just looking at, like, basically here's the way I thought about it, you know? If somebody who streams chess can have this kind of slick production, I should probably look into it myself as well. So hopefully that'll be noticeable when it happens. But the stuff is coming, like, some of it's gonna be here like today, some of it's gonna be here in late December, so it'll take a bit to actually completely manifest, but still. So I don't know. I don't even think we can like afford an item. Maybe. Well, that was incredibly stupid of me. On the bright side, we don't want the item to begin with. On the bright side, at least the thing that we lost was bad. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I still, like, I want to upgrade, like, my microphone situation as well, but we'll see if that happens right away. For the microphone, like, just being honest, I feel like the actual technology of the microphone is relatively fine. Probably the best thing that I could do is actually be a little bit more rigorous in the way that this room is acoustically treated. I don't know if anybody's still listening. Like where are you going? Where are you going? That's insanely good, by the way. But yeah, like, I definitely, I don't see myself as one of those streamers who's like, you know, if you donate like 500 bits or whatever, you can make the RGB lights flash. And, you know, I definitely also don't see myself as one of those gamers who's like, you know, wearing a bunch of branded apparel, or like, you know, check it out, I just became a Corsair ambassador. You know, everything I got is like Corsair branded or whatever. Not that I would say no Corsair. I'm currently on the Logitech train, but I am a free agent. The business inbox is open. But, you know, that doesn't mean, you know, you have to be using a... It's not really like a scuffed setup. Like, the setup is adequate, but it could be much better, I guess is what I'm getting at. So, you know, the new year is always a time for a little bit of a refresh in that sense, you know? Not just because it's, you know, possibly the end of a fiscal year as well, where you can buy stuff and write it off and then feel like, hey, you know, look at that. I'm doing real business. I can't believe I'm going to go down this road again, but I do feel the need to point out. People always assume, if they don't know what they're talking about, that when you write something off, you get it for free. You do not get it for free. I don't want to belabor the point because I'm sure nobody cares. But this is kind of the way this series works, is we've got to talk about it anyway. Otherwise, we just hit patches of dead air constantly. But, you know, let's say your taxable income is like $100. If you bought something for the business that cost $10, now your taxable income is like $90. I don't know if that's exactly the figures. Like, it might not be completely right off. Oh, what percentage of the $10 purchase do you use for work? What percentage do you use for fun? And then we'll tax it at this level. Like, you know, that's... I leave that to the lobbyists at TurboTax to handle as a result of them preventing the simplification of the tax code in North America. They can deal with that from a software standpoint. Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about, but hopefully in every series apart from Isaac, you will see a camera upgrade in the future. Should be good. Should be a fun time. Oh, and then you gotta make your background like dark and with like some purple lights, and then it gets a little fuzzy due to the depth of field. Oh, baby. Get some HDR on it. I don't know. Malph's a very good technical guy. I see him, Malph, to me, he's like a digital carpenter, if that makes sense. Like, don't get me wrong, he's handy as well. Like, I'm sure he knows what he's doing around the house. But also, like, if you have technical questions for him, like, he will sort you out. I mean, I don't want to say he knows the most, because I know that there, you know, are even other people within the community that he would go to for specific advice on stuff. However, if you need, like, generalized advice, if you needed a friend who was like, hey, you know, you could ask him about cameras, you could ask him about phones, you know, you could ask him about, you know, motherboards. You know, you'd be like, hey, Malph, what do you feel about motherboards? And he'd be like, oh, you know, like the new Corsair, this has been pretty good, but the chipset is only compatible with these sorts of chips, which are, you know, and basically he'd talk your ear off. So I'm very appreciative of that. Saved me a lot of time and hassle. I did basically send him a message that was like, hey, can you list every product you use so that I can just copy your style? I like to be like that, but I'm only with that when it comes to, like, such fringe things. Like, when I was really into working out, people were like, hey, you know, what's your thoughts on this workout plan? You know, I'd type out, like, a lot. I'd be like, I don't think you really need 2 isolated bicep exercises when you're just getting started. And, you know, wait, you're doing, like, reverse deadlifts and deadlifts on the same day. You're doing deadlifts and sumo deadlifts on the same day. I mean, you just started working out. I don't really think you need to have 2 types of deadlifts on the same day. Like, I'm not really worried about injury. It just seems like, you know, you could probably get enough out of, you know, 3 to 5 sets of relatively heavy deadlifts with the grip of your choice. And then when people are like, hey, what do you think about, like, you know, technical stuff? What do you think about hardware? And I'm like, I don't know. When chat cyberbullies me into getting a new PC, I just pick the best video card I could find that's under $2,000 and just shove that in with the... No, that's not true. I ask Rumble Muffin, noted member of the community, Rumble Muffin. I go, hey, Rumble Muffin, build me a computer. Not like build it, but like send me the PC part picker. Anyway. We're building, I hate to say it because it could come crashing down at any moment, but we're building a nice little bit of momentum. I feel very like Isaac Fuzzy. Like, for example, why would you stick with the D1 instead of taking Satanic Bible? That should be like automatic in the muscle memory. We're obviously going to win easily regardless, but it's kind of like, you know, just kind of a scary thought that you even let it hover there for even a second, you know? I feel like I've been a little bit out of sorts on this run. Just kind of, you know what it is? The flip side of, like, I've been mentioning, like, we get these lunches on Sunday. We get these lunches delivered, and I said previously we had 5 lunches delivered. I discovered a new pocket in our fridge. Actually, all 7 days have lunches. They're delivered once a week, but they last for 7 days. So, like, the flip side of actually being well sated is that sometimes after I eat my lunch, I get a little sleepy. So I had a delicious, you know, falafel wrap, some quinoa, you know, some spinach, and some garlic tahini, and now I'm like, could use a little snooze. Previously, the benefit of your diet consisting of just like 6 protein bars or granola bars every single day, you stay hungry. There's something to be said about staying hungry. It keeps the senses sharp. The mood, on the other hand, goes through some serious ups and downs. But the senses are heightened. You know, like when you lose your sense of fullness, all your other senses become stronger. Anyway, you have been handled quite easily. I think it's like 15 in a row. 14 in a row. How about that? For now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!